welcome to today's episode of Hooked on Mortgages. We have a special guest today, Tiffany Lorente-Pazos.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Tiffany does social media, so I'll let you introduce, your company, what you do, how long you've been doing it, and we'll kind of get into it.
Awesome. So I'm, again, Tiffany Lorente-Pazos. I am the founder and CEO of Lorente Pazos Consulting. I've been in social media for over 10 years now, but on my own for about 4 or 5. I do everything from content creation to content organization to automating the content for my clients.
Okay, perfect. So just, obviously you owning your own company, what drew you to social media just to begin with?
So I started doing social media in high school because I'm part of the MySpace generation.
Okay.
So I was coding, and I thought I was very.
I missed the theme songs on the pages.
This generation could not survive the top 8. They could not. So I missed we have the songs now on Instagram, so it works. But they're kind of dipping into the MySpace nugget sauce. I started doing social media in high school with MySpace, middle school, high school. And then I moved towards Facebook and Instagram on a personal level. But I started doing the same for a senator, which was my first big girl job, I like to call it. Did her social media, Twitter. She was kind of a pioneer in the social media world for local state senators and just Floridian elected officials. So I was doing her. I ran her Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and her newsletter I was in charge of pretty much all her communications for about 6 years. And people caught on that I was, I guess, I had serious experience on legislative content. And I started working on my own once she termed out in 2020. Because in 2020, everybody was a little freaked out, like, where am I going? Who am I working for? So instead of going to TikTok, I went to everything and started my own company.
Okay. And then just out of curiosity with the senator, when it comes to, I guess, a strategy or marketing with them, are you doing a lot of educational posts, or is it mainly just kind of exposure for them just to kind of get their name out there, or a combination?
It's a little bit of both. If it's a campaign year, it's a lot of exposure. But you don't want to be that elected official that only pops up on social media during the election year. So I made it a point to whatever event she went to, whether it was, a delegation meeting, a committee hearing, whatever she was doing, I made it a point to at least post once a day or multiple times a week if session was not going on, to make sure that she was consistent with her image out there, that there was some material out there on the senator. And so we would do the whatever event she was at, but we would also do educational posts. Hey, did you know that your state senators can help you with advocating for your food stamps? We can help connect you to somebody at DCF in Tallahassee, et cetera, et cetera. And we would also do information, like things that were happening in the district. So if part of her district was Monroe County, so there were a lot of like seafood festivals a certain time of the year, we were sharing that all the time. If there was a closure on the turnpike and it was a closure in a specific area of the district, we were sharing that as well. So it depends on the year, but mostly it was, hey, this is going on.
Okay. Now, I mean, just to kind of continue into that, how do you feel, or in regards to today's landscape with social media, how important is it for businesses and individuals to utilize social media to, I guess, gain brand exposure and things like that?
It's the new Yellow Page. Yellow Page books, you would get a big phone book on your, on your doorstep every, 6 months, every year? I don't remember. Maybe even quarterly. I don't remember. I remember that it was
dating us, was just
I know
unfortunate here.
I know, it's fine. Or do you remember the flyer that would come in your news in the mail every week? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. The same thing. It used to be a big book, a thick book, or it was a weekly, pamphlet that was getting to your house. And so that wasn't free. Social media is, and you would get your own, space to kind of do whatever you want with it. As long as you follow the community guidelines and you're not posting anything that they want to censor at the moment. You do that, you have all these free platforms that you can expose and show what you're doing. So this podcast, we're recording it, you're going to share it on YouTube. YouTube is free. You're going to share snippets of it on Instagram. That's free. If you use the correct hashtags and you gain the experience of you find where you fit, you have the ability to expose all of that and to educate your audience. and it separates the, the businesses don't realize, some of them I've noticed, they create the account to hold the username, for example, but they don't post anything.
Yeah.
And so that's a double-edged sword. Yes, you're holding on to the username, but people who are looking you up on social media, oh, I'm going to look up such and such restaurant on Instagram, and there's no pictures, they're going to go maybe towards the restaurant that has more pictures. So it's important in that aspect to gain exposure and to gain momentum with your content.
Now, just in regards to business, is there one platform even particularly stronger to use than the other? Or I guess what would be your thoughts on focusing on one, or is it kind of sprinkling on all of them?
I believe in sprinkling on all of them. For certain businesses, some businesses, it really depends. Like I have to pull an attorney card here. It depends. Restaurants thrive on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
On LinkedIn,
Oh yeah, no
they
worries.
flop. So attorneys thrive on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, but on Instagram, sometimes they don't, because the reels don't, Instagram doesn't feed you that information. You can whisper to your phone Chanel purses, and your phone's gonna pop up with a bunch of stuff on Instagram about Chanel purses.
I'm sure your husband hasn't had any of those pop up on his.
No, but Disney Annual Pass he has. And so, or you could say, if you say on, I lost my train of thought now, Matt, thank you.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's fine. You can tell your phone, Instagram's going to pop up with all that content, but if you say that to LinkedIn, you're not going to get that, So it depends on your business where you should be.
Okay. And we were talking about a little bit earlier, obviously, kind of a big thing coming up right now with in the news is the whole TikTok. I know it's not a huge, part of your business. It doesn't seem like, but I guess, how do you see that and affecting, I guess advertising, or do you see people moving back to Instagram a little bit heavier, or do you just see something new popping up and becoming the new TikTok?
You would assume that everyone is going to move towards Instagram Reels because it's the same concept. But the thing about TikTok is that the comment section in TikTok is so wholesome and kind, right? For the most part. Instagram is not. Instagram is just gladiator, throwing knives, killing lions. Like the comment section on Instagram is pretty intense sometimes. So you would think that people will gravitate towards Instagram Reels, but I don't know that that's really going to happen. I was reading an article this morning that Snapchat is now trying to do the same thing that TikTok used to be, to kind of bring people back to Snapchat. So we have to see, but I'm not sure that Instagram is there yet.
Okay. And then just, obviously in regards to all the platforms and using them correctly, what do you see as, I guess, maybe the biggest failure that people do on their social media? Or I guess, yeah, one of the biggest things that people do that screw up their social media success.
They don't post consistently.
Just, is it the main thing? Just, is it the algorithm, obviously, or is it the type of posts,
Right.
things like that?
So they don't post consistently. They don't vary their posts. So you don't always have to do a reel. You can do a graphic. You can do a picture. You can do a shorter video. It can be a a GIF, whatever. But they don't vary their content, and they're not consistent with it. They're not consistent in posting. But the other thing that I really see people, I don't want to say fail because it's such a big word, but that people don't take advantage of, for example, is hashtags. They don't take advantage of that. They don't take advantage of geotagging, like, oh, hey, I was, at Matt's office. That's important because people who are around here, they're going to get that. When, I was in Jacksonville a couple weeks ago, and my Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok were all showing me things in Jacksonville because the influencers there, or the influencers that traveled there, geotagged it, and my phone picked up that I was there. So they don't take advantage of the geotagging. They don't take advantage of the hashtags, and they don't post consistently.
Okay. I mean, obviously, some of the failures, obviously you manage a fair share of accounts and things like that. I always like to talk about, a success story, maybe not recent, but just one that always sticks out in your mind that, whether, again, it could have been a senator or maybe someone in some sort of business that it blew up, or any specific viral event that happened. Or is there any one that kind of sticks out in your mind?
So on a personal level, I had a TikTok go incredibly viral because I had someone deliver pizza to my house. And when this person delivered pizza to my house, he asked me if I wanted to buy the empanadas he makes from scratch at home that he has in his car. So that's my personal viral moment.
How many views?
I think it was like 30,000, 40,000 because I made a joke out of it. I was like, only in Miami. And I used the hashtag only in Dade and it blew up on TikTok.
Okay.
I'll have to check before they close the app how many people saw that. But my proud moment is a client of mine. They're an air conditioning company. And we do a lot of what's called co-op events with Rheem Manufacturing. And we had a really big event with them, a 5K. And the exposure from that led to a national campaign with Rheem for an influencer couple that lives I think in Doral. They were gifted an entirely new air conditioning system for their home installed by my client. And it was because of the social media exposure. So their social media team we tagged them, we used the hashtags, and we geotagged Miami. We got the exposure, and their social media team, Reem's social media team, picked it up and said, "Oh my God, we want to do a feature on this air conditioning company based out of Miami with this influencer that is buying a home and building building it out, renewing it, remodeling." And so that was really cool because it was all over, it was on home magazines, it was all over the internet, like nationwide exposure. They won an award later on in the year at Reem's national conference for philanthropy and marketing, exposure, things like that. So that was a really big deal for me.
Also, just I guess on a little side note, you brought up the empanadas. We have like one question and we always ask, it's usually at the end, but I guess this ties in perfect, is, obviously during lunch or, breakfast, if anything, get your cafecito and get a little, your pastelito here in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a croqueta or an empanada girl?
Croqueta. Ham and cheese.
There's literally
there's two people.
there's like a battle going on. I ask everybody that comes on, but I mean I've gotten into like major arguments with friends, so I mean I always like to
It's croquetas.
Okay.
I'm a croqueta girl.
I mean, obviously this being a real estate podcast, just in regards to just a tip or just kind of the way people would be able to use it for let's just say a new realtor,
right,
who's getting their license, just got their license. What would be your advice in regards to using social media to them and being able to grow their exposure smartest and most efficient way?
Don't buy followers.
Yeah, that's
don't buy followers. Use your hashtags correctly. Tag the location of or the general area of the house. You don't want to specify, maybe sometimes in certain properties, and pictures. In realtors, home buying, home decor, food, and clothing. If you're in those businesses, your pictures matter. If the picture of the house is dated, it looks like it's a picture of a picture, it's grainy, it's not bright, it's not clear, it's not crisp, your realtor profile on social media is not going to succeed like someone who has really crisp pictures, very bright, very colorful. That's the key. The pictures matter.
And I know one of the big things obviously with pictures and things like that is the engagement. So when it comes to engagement, likes, comments, I guess replies is another one. How does that draw to, I guess, following and building up someone's social, I guess their page or their following, things like that?
Well, likes are good for your self-esteem, but not every set of eyes decides to give you a like. So you need to focus on views. How many people are going to your page, visits, how many views you're getting on your video, how many views you're getting on the post. Because just because they're not liking it doesn't mean they're not seeing it. There's a lot of surveillance on social media, and you don't even if you're getting the right eyes on it, even if they're not liking it, the eyes are there and people remember. Saves, if people are saving your post, that's really important too. But you don't have to fixate on the like. The likes are nice, and that's why people ultimately end up buying the followers. But if you have 10,000 followers and 6 likes,
I mean, if that's the case, do you get penalized, or how does that algorithm work when it comes to, I guess, building up the views?
I wouldn't say penalized, but you're not as exposed as someone who's actually like hustling those numbers.
Okay. I mean, in regards to social media right now, obviously it's grown tremendously within the last, since I've been in school, 10. 10 years. I mean, now I mean is a huge. What do you see social media in regards to influencing for businesses, or do you see any major changes coming in the next, I guess as we could say two to three, and then 5 years and ongoing?
I see major changes coming in the next 2 weeks because with TikTok leaving, unless they get their Martin Luther King miracle, because that's when
Aren't
that's
they,
when it's
aren't they
gone.
talking about like trying to like there's like a 180-day possible extension of
Yeah,
social
they're
media?
discussing a bill for an extension. If they get that and it stays, then the influencer market's going to change, and hopefully they catch on that this TikTok is not forever, and they start spreading their influencing to various platforms. TikTok is the easiest because they have TikTok Shop, and it's just a different platform, and your likelihood of going viral and growing on TikTok is just for some reason the TikTok effect is there. Um, but influencing is the way I've always seen influencing is influencing, at least for women. This is specifically for women. Um, it, it's the new Avon, the new Mary Kay, the new Tupperware, whatever you want to call it. It's the new work from home. I'm taking care of my kids, but it has crazier potential than any of those businesses ever had, and you can do it from home. And you can choose the business that comes in. If you want to work with Matt, who's giving you a $10,000 contract to promote his microphone, perfect. That's what I'm going to do. If Zonia comes and tells you, I want you to sell me I want you to sell my Mickey Mouse ears for, I don't know, $5,000. Sure, I will do that. But if somebody comes to you with a product that you're not really sure about, you have the option to say no. With Avon or whatever other brands like before, women didn't really have much of a choice. So I think that it's going to explode even more. It's going to become the new QVC, the new home shopping network for women, but it's on their phones. So men can do it too. Men are doing it. I see it all the time. My husband plays disc golf, and somebody's always influencing him on social media to buy a disc. It's like, wow, okay, cool. Look at this guy. He's trying to sell me a frisbee. I'm gonna get shot if somebody hears me calling me a frisbee. But yeah, so I think that it's going to explode, and it's going to become not just necessarily physical products that people are going to start selling and continue selling, but maybe digital products, which they're already doing, classes, courses, things like that.
Yeah, I feel like there's course. Everybody's becoming a course
Yes.
influencer.
Oh my God.
Buy my subscription.
I love seeing people who could not recite the Pledge of Allegiance to me in high school, and now they have a course on something.
Yeah. I mean, I guess one thing too is I know obviously all the social media outlets. One of the ones I guess we haven't really touched on is LinkedIn. What's I guess your advice with using LinkedIn? Obviously, it's a more professional, but I feel like you're starting to see it become a little bit more social, but still very professional. Like, what's your thoughts on LinkedIn and social media?
I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional brag board. It's your digital resume. People see what you're doing, what you're not doing. It's LinkedIn is your place to be principal on a roll all the time. And I love that. I don't understand why people post what they had for lunch, or like they're trying to turn LinkedIn into Facebook. I don't understand that because LinkedIn is a professional network, like you said. I think it should stick to, hey, I took this course. Hey, I went to this conference. Or sharing posts like so and so is hiring. But I don't think it should become social like Facebook is, because it's going to lose its professional value. And there's a lot of value in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great for attorneys, construction companies, small business owners who want to highlight what their business is doing without necessarily making it social. Like, oh, hey, I went and had cafecito with so and so. You don't have to do that. You could do that on Instagram. But LinkedIn is so valuable, and making it social is a little scary to me.
Yeah, no, to me it'd be weird because I know it's always been you post your resume where you worked, and if you start kind of doing that posting,
Yeah.
it kind of does deteriorate the value of it.
Yeah, because then it just becomes kind of like a country club, and you don't want that. You want it to stay professional because it's where people go to see. If you want to be social on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, X, TikTok, whatever. But LinkedIn is where you show your success, your accomplishments. Or I have a colleague, he's actually a client of my husband's, who shares failures. Oh, you know what? This flopped, and I think this is why it flopped. And that's awesome because it's a professional post, hey, I did this and this didn't work, you learn from me. So LinkedIn is more of a learning engagement place, and it's just to see it social is a little awkward.
Of course. And then again, I guess another one other one that you mentioned is Twitter or X. I guess what would be your strategy to using Twitter? Because I feel like it's just kind of people just posting what's on their mind. In regards to a professional environment, do you see it as one? And I guess what would be the ways to be able to use it effectively?
X got funky very quickly because once Elon bought it, a lot of people left. Twitter was a great place for comedians and feel good content and businesses, and now it's very hit or miss. It's very hit or miss. You're seeing a lot of celebrities left, and celebrities help social media platforms because people love to be where their celebrity, they like to stand where their stands are. But X is very hit or miss at this point with businesses because it doesn't come up on the Google when you Google something, it's not on the top anymore. Threads, you have a better shot there, but Threads is also a very safe place where people share things that are happening to them and not so much business.
Okay. I mean, again, too, I guess obviously with us being mortgage brokers and things like that, you talked about the realtor. Do you see any, a different route in regards to, I guess, promoting our pages? I mean, I know a lot of it would probably be reviews. Obviously, mortgages aren't the most exciting thing to discuss. So I guess what would be, I guess, one piece of advice to making mortgages exciting? Would it be reviews or programs or just something in general that would, I guess, draw views or help the algorithm grow?
Mortgages are not exciting per se because people don't understand them.
And they're scared of them.
And they're scared of them. Guilty. Mortgage, cool. I'm gonna pay it for 30 years. That's my understanding of it, and I'm ashamed to say that. One of my resolutions is to learn to understand more of the financial stuff around me, including my mortgage. But that's why they're not exciting because people don't understand them. And so if you're a mortgage broker like you, those videos that you make about, you've done them before, but I've seen them on social media from different mortgage brokers and realtors in general, is fun fact. Did you know? Educate them. Educate your audience on mortgages. If people believe doctors on social media, they will believe a mortgage broker. So I think that that's the key for a mortgage broker, to create content that educates and takes away the fearful aspect or like the, oh my God, this is so daunting piece that comes with a mortgage.
Okay. I mean, other than that, I mean, is there anything, I guess, about social media that you see changing or that you wanted to bring up or talk about a little bit, that I guess we haven't covered on so far?
I've done several podcasts on social media, and I always like to, at some point in there, throw that the internet is forever.
That's true. Oh yeah, I know where you're going with this.
So be very careful what you post. I understand that opinions are opinions, and you want to own up to it and stick to it. We unfortunately live in the world of cancel culture, and that's starting to backfire and kind of die down a little bit. But the internet is forever, and specifically for those with children, if you are allowing your children on social media, their posts are forever. So monitor that and make sure that before they post, you have to approve.
Oh, yeah. I'm guilty of that. Just looking at old, like when I feel like the memories on Facebook.
Oh, I am not.
You look and I'm like, wow,
No.
I can't believe I did that.
No, I see my memories on
I
Facebook.
could not run for office.
No, I mean, I could, but my posts, I'm just like, oh, qué dramática, like, give me a break. So.
No, yeah, no, I feel like Facebook memories, that's one thing that I wish they can get rid of or just.
Well, you can filter them out. I take it as an opportunity to delete.
Okay, there you go. Delete. Go as far.
It's forever, but
I mean, it's harder to find, if anything, is probably the best way to put
right.
it.
Harder to find is a good one.
But other than that, is there anything else that you that I guess you feel is something to mention in regards to social media for any professional? I guess looking to build their page, you kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier, but
the other tip I like to give, keep your professional and your personal accounts separate. If you're an attorney and you want to show, you want to create reels about not necessarily your business, but maybe you work in a company and you want to create your own social media on your cases, on what you're doing. You know, you work in a big law firm and you do the bankruptcy aspect of it, and your neighbor does the foreclosures, but you want to educate people on bankruptcy. Create an account that highlights that you're an attorney, and then create a personal account for, you know, your kids and your pictures at South Beach. Because separating the professional life and your personal life in real time is important. On social media, it's even more important.
Okay. I've honestly heard like both sides of that story.
Yeah.
Because I've always heard like obviously you want to keep your professional, but then I've also heard that, you know, sometimes people are nosy. So like it's like it would all you know, people want to see what you're doing, but then you also sprinkle in like a little bit of work as it
Yeah.
like do you see one?
Yeah, you can sprinkle it in and be relatable. Like, oh, hey, you know, we went to Disney this weekend on your professional page, and I learned, you know, such experience reminded me about this that I wanted to share with you on the professional level. That's a little sprinkle.
Okay.
If you have a promotion going on with your job, you have a new package deal that you're doing, or there's a new mortgage program that you want to share and highlight, absolutely share that, because maybe somebody in your personal life is looking to buy a home, or trying to refinance, or trying to help a family member buy a mortgage. That is going to, you know, it's okay. It's easier to share your work life into your professional, but keeping into your personal, but vice versa, it's stickier.
Okay.
So yes, you can sprinkle work into your personal, but be very careful what you do from personal into work.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I've always heard both ends, but other than that, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Everybody, thank you for joining in. I'm sure you learned something new. I definitely did, so I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so
And
much.
we'll make sure to keep all of Tiffany's information available. So if you are interested in using her for your social media, she is amazing. But other than that, everybody have a good one. And again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.